Alright guys, welcome back. Metal Santa here for my next reaction video. I know it's been a little while since I did one. I kind of got to get back in a groove. I've got some new lighting setup that I'm trying here. I got a couple umbrella lights and some box lights. I want to see how the lighting set turns out. I'm using this OBS program. I'm going to be using this program also at Christmas time to do virtual Santa stuff with backgrounds. I got me a green screen and a black screen and a white screen, so I can hopefully do some pretty neat background stuff. But I know y'all clicked in not to hear me talk about Santa, but to do my reaction to Tom McDonald's latest video. Well, not latest video. The one that this one was the one I heard about from some of the conservative media, along with Snowflakes, I believe it was. And I'm going to do Snowflakes, I think, next to give me a little... You can never tell which is right and which is left when you're looking at the screen. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Fake Woke by Tom McDonald. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to maximize that. And let's hit it.
I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's back.
I got to stop right from the beginning. Let me go back here. This is just, a statement on our society right here.
I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls.
Yeah, how can you as a parent let your daughter listen to a Cardi B song? It's the most revolting stuff. It dehumanizes women. It makes her into just a piece of meat. I just don't understand why a woman would sing that way. But hey, to each their own.
There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, because you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public.
Okay, I got to back up a little bit. I mean, as usual, Tom spitting the truth. I'm amazed every time I hear him.
Exponentially dumb. It's more race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump.
Yep.
We're ashamed.
Again, I listened to... That's probably the only rapper that I really heard much of was Eminem. And he's right. Eminem was edgy and kind of raw back in the day. And now, he's to me, he's just part of the political machine now. All these artists, all these rappers, musicians, actors, actresses, they just all kind of fall in line with the political machine. Again, he's right.
And murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, because you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public.
Okay, so we're all in today's world watching what is happening in Afghanistan. I served in the military. I know probably plenty of you out there did also. Anybody that hates this country has not seen the rest of the world. It's a shit show around the world, and you have the right. The great thing about this country is you have the right to speak about what you do or don't like, and you don't have to worry about getting stoned to death in public. You should be proud for the rights you have in this country. It's not perfect. I mean, it'll never be perfect. There's only one perfect ever. But, you got it pretty good in this country compared to the rest of the world. You don't have to worry about getting stoned to death in the streets.
You should probably love it, because you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children, we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now. The planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist.
Yep, cancel culture is going to be the death of us all. Social media has got some great things. I mean, what I'm doing here, right? I have fun doing this stuff, but it's a divisive world. And like you said, the thing about walking and talking, but now the, culture wants us just to shut up. Freedom of speech is the greatest thing to ever happen. The ability to speak your mind and suffer the consequences. There's going to be people that say some really bad things, but, you know, good ideas will rise to the top. What's the old saying? Sunshine is the best disinfectant. So bring these ideas out. Don't force these ideas underground. That's when they become problems. You should want to hear some of these bad ideas because you want to be able to fight against them, not let them build in the underground. The more we silence speech, the more we censor speech, the more likely we are to get radicals that are developed. And that's not what we want.
If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got me too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. All our childhood heroes got me. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got me too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves.
That's how they shut everybody up. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. Shut your mouth just because you have a differing opinion. It's the silencing of discourse is going to be the death of us all.
All our childhood heroes got me too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need to change. They gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. I think it's crazy.
All right, so I've said it before. I love his hooks. You know, he's got like a way with the words he says and being able to spit them out in a real melodic kind of way. It's I love it, but I want to go back for a second.
They saw gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame.
Yep. So, you know, these phones, these devices, this stuff, I've said it before, it's a freedom, but it's also a cage. You think about 20 years ago when you got off work, you were off work. If you went home and you didn't want to talk to anybody, you didn't talk to anybody. You know, you let the answering machine answer and they deal with you the next day when you get to work. It's not the world today. It's just where we have the freedoms because of all these devices, but it's also a chain. And then they use the media to divide us. He has some reoccurring themes in his songs. And, you know, I think he needs to keep preaching that message. Just keep throwing that message out there. All right, I want to hear the hook one more time, and then I'll let it play a little bit more. You know, somebody told me if people want to hear the song, they'll just play the song. So they're here to get kind of my reaction. So I'm going to give you my reaction. I'm going to be as in-depth as I can on these.
They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. I think it's crazy how these people screaming facts, but they fake woke. Hate their neighbor cause he wears a mask or he stays home. Has a daughter but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue cause they choose what they...
All right, I heard the mask thing, you know, this whole coronavirus stuff. It's just another way to divide us. I mean, they're taking something that should be scientific, something that we should have all the differing views on. You should have all these different epidemiologists and all these different doctors giving you their opinions, and then you should talk to your doctor and you should make your choices from there, because there's a lot of differing opinions out there. But that's not what I heard that part, but I want to hear this.
Up from school, music slap daughter, but his favorite artist said he slays because he wears a mask or he stays home. Has a daughter, but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue because they choose.
You know, I've got 6 boys, 4 biological, 2 adopted. The stuff that they hear when they're growing up, the stuff that they see you listening to and hear you listening to, it will resonate with them for the rest of their lives. I mean, my kids they all know all the old rock and roll songs and like rock and roll and metal, but they like the new stuff too. But because that's what they heard growing up, it resonates with them. So if you're playing stuff about, I guess, slapping hoes is, you know, what it says, slapping hoes. So just treating women with disrespect, and that's what your daughter's going to hear, and then she's going to think that's the way she should be treated. So, you know, he's right. You need to think about these things when you're playing your music on the radio.
Music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue because they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. I think Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. That was name with speech that you hate. I think Black Lives.
That was one of the most true statements I've ever heard. Right there. Let's go back.
Because they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. I think Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. I just want to spend.
All right, let me think about that for a minute. Obviously, I 100% on the hate speech thing. You know, just because you don't like it doesn't make it hate speech. You know, there's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. And, you know, it's pretty controversial. I'll tell you that unless speech is a call to violence, unless speech actually induces violence, then it's still protected under the First Amendment. But, you know, people don't want to hear that. Let me go back.
Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. I just want to spend Thanksgiving Day with food in my family without being accused of celebrating native casualties. We got so divided, it's black and white and political. Republicans are bigots, libtards if you're liberal. There's riots in our streets and it's just getting worse. Y'all screaming deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded.
Okay, you know, I'm trying. Sometimes he's just spitting this stuff off so fast, it's kind of hard to get each statement and process it. I'm probably gonna have to listen to this a couple times. You know, I'm sure a lot of people, when they first heard him say Black Lives Matter is the stupidest thing, or however he paraphrased it, they probably got all up in arms over it. But then his next phrase kind of explained his mindset, is that, yeah, it's them against us. It's not us against each other. The system is not designed for any of us. It's designed for the people in power. It's designed for the wealthy. All these people that run the governments could care less about me and you. They could care less. They will do whatever it takes to be in power. And if they think if dividing us keeps them in power, that's what they're going to do. 100%. You know, the best thing we can do is come together. You know, the job that I do, I'll kind of not talk about the actual job that I do, but I'm in people's houses all day long. I meet people all day long. And I'll tell you that people are great. The majority of people out there are amazing, with amazing stories and amazing people, all races, religions, colors, ethnic backgrounds. I meet them all day long. And I love people. We may have differing political views, but that doesn't make people bad. You know, that's what they want you to think.
Deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded already, they're way too busy to work. Order food and call the cops, see what reaches you first. Segregation ended, that's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to order food and deep on the police. Y'all are genius in our streets and it's just getting worse. Y'all screaming deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded already, they're way too busy to work. Order food and call the cops, see what reaches you first.
I like that
Segregation
line.
ended.
I don't know that it's 100% true. I mean, sometimes Uber Eats takes an hour and 15 minutes now. I don't know if police response times are that bad, but they might be. They might be. It depends, I guess, on where you live and how much crime there is. You know, if you got, you know, like if you're in Chicago and you got 82 people being shot over the weekend, yeah, it may take them a while to respond. They got a lot of calls to go to. But yeah, I mean, it's true. You're genius for sure. You want to defund the police. It's not going to make things better. That's for daggum sure.
Segregation ended, that's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help. They knew that racism was hot if they designed it to sell. We buy up every single box and divide us ourselves.
Okay. So segregation is not ended. He's 100% right. What they've done is they've now, you look at the colleges, these spaces for people of color and special graduations and dorms and all this stuff. It's just a different form of segregation. There should be none of that. We should all experience everything together. There should be no segregation. They found a way to segregate us in the name of racial justice. How does that even make any sense? How does it make any sense to segregate us just in the name of racial justice? You're doing exactly what the white supremacists would want. You're segregating everybody. Doesn't make any sense.
Fake woke, facts don't care about feelings. They won't tell me.
Does anybody know who the facts don't care about feelings lines comes from? Let's say that probably the most famous person that I've heard say that is old Ben Shapiro. He's a funny little guy. He's a fast talker. Really, really smart. I mean, he's a genius, but he's got a lot of views that some people won't agree with. But hey, again, I don't believe anybody should be silenced. They should all be able to speak their views.
What to believe in? They so fake, whoa, same old, safe zones. They so fake, whoa, facts don't care about your feelings.
Safe zone.
Violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. And that's like to get peace and wonder. Facts don't care about your feelings. We use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Politicians are for sale and someone always makes the purchase. But you and I cannot afford it. Our democracy is worthless. If a man has mental illness...
Okay, so couple things there. You know, I think he said it in his last song about how Black Lives Matter, the No Lives Matter, how Black Lives Matter got so aggressive that even white people that supported the message couldn't get behind it. So this is, I think, along the same lines where he's talking about using violence to achieve peace is like sleeping with a football team to be a virgin. And then the line about politicians being bought, it's 100% true, and none of us can afford it. You look at the amount of money that these people raise, just even for local campaigns, is in the millions and millions of dollars. Where's that money coming from? It ain't coming out of mine and yours pockets. It's coming from special interests. So, you know, all these guys are bought, but we can't afford the ticket to get there. That's just all there is to it. I tell you, man, I love Tom McDonald. I love this guy.
Call him crazy, say it silently. When country's going crazy, we accept it as society. Get sick and take a pill when the side effects get you high. You get addicted like these rappers dying, fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens.
So, censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. If you've watched any of these guys that'll go to like college campuses and they'll go and they'll interview college students and ask them just basic questions, they don't know the answers. They're stupid. There's a huge portion of people in our colleges that don't know basic history at all. Don't know anything about this country at all. It's shocking the amount of idiocracy. We've all seen the movie Idiocracy, and I kind of feel like that's where we're headed in this world, is that we've made everything so dangerous, all speech so dangerous, and all ideas so dangerous that we've just watered it all down to where everybody's in their little safe, cuddly, safe spaces. Sad.
Truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change all the citizens. Turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen and women. How'd we let them make praying a microaggression? Instead of asking God for the strength to keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and then we ask him for forgiveness.
Now, I saw somebody asking him if he was a Christian or if he was religious, and he kind of skated it where I saw the question asked. I think it was on one of his like question and answer videos that he does, and he kind of skated the answer. He didn't. It's like I was a little disappointed. I mean, be what you are, right? But I kind of would, just answer it. Just answer. Don't get sucked into this. Don't get sucked into the thing you're fighting against. Be who you are and be proud of it. If you're a Christian, be a Christian. If you're not, you're not. But just, it's interesting how Christianity is vilified now. Christianity is made to look like this horrible thing, and then Islam is raised up on a pedestal. I don't understand it. But again, be what you want to be.
Used to be the most righteous of fights, but these days it feels like they secretly hate guys. I don't trust anyone who bleeds for a week and don't die. I'm just kidding, but everything else that I said is right.
All right.
They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Another great one. You know, like I said, 99.999% of what he says, I 100% agree with. It's he's pretty straightforward about how he feels about stuff, and I'm hearing some recurring themes throughout his songs, and it resonates. I think that's why I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a swing back to some sanity. The younger generation always pushes back against what's being forced down their throat, right? When conservatism and the Bible thumping and the Reagan years and all that stuff was forced down people's throats, it kind of forced people to push back a little bit and get a little more rebellious. It's like for the 50s and 60s, it was a very, very conservative time, and the pushback to that was the flower children and the free love of the 70s and all that. Well, things went a little wacky and a little crazy, and then that was the narrative that was being pushed down kids' throats was, you know, wokeism basically. And so that pendulum had swung left, and the people were like, oh, this just isn't working, and that's how you ended up with the Reagan years. The pendulum swung back to the right, right? And so that pendulum is always swinging. I think we may be seeing, you know, some swing away from the fake woke in the next couple of years. I'm hoping. Our country really needs it. You know, we need a little more common sense right now than what we have going on. But guys, this was my, you know, Metal Santa reacts to Tom MacDonald fake woke. Another banger by Tom. I love everything I've heard. I think next I am going to do Snowflakes. Like I said, I saw a couple of the conservative pundits, you know, clamoring about that song. So I think that's the next one I'm going to do. Guys, I appreciate you watching. It's Metal Santa reacts to Tom MacDonald fake woke, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.